move on for the final session for the day. The final session for the day is something I think which would be very interesting, which would be a bit light-hearted, and it's called Comics Back in Vogue. So for this session, we have on our panel Mr. Vijay Sampath. Give him a big hand, guys. Vijay Sampath is the CEO of Amar Chitrakatha. So we are all born up, brought up, reading Amar Chitrakatha comics, Tinkle, and the series. Vijay is spearheading the transformation of the legacy of Amar Chitrakatha. Vijay has 23 years of experience in media and consumer business, and his key assignments have included Glow Past, Z Network, Bennett Coleman, and Alia Group. Vijay has worked with leading brands, created and led innovative business units, spearheaded corporate strategy, and has also been an entrepreneur. Next on cards, we have Mr. Abhijeet Kini of Abhijeet Kini Studios. He's a Mumbai-based illustrator, animator, and an independent comics publisher. He's very well known for his comic series called as Angry Maushi. So he's been nominated in multiple categories at the Indian Comic Con Awards and is an artist for the award-winning series called as Dental Diaries. Abhijeet has been a regular participant in all Indian Comic Cons held across the country and has also participated in international Comic Cons. Apart from cartooning for magazines and newspapers, he's a regular illustrator with Tinkle Comics since 2004. So that means you have your super boss sitting here. Alongside he and his wife, Kini, they run something called as Kini Merch, which is a brand which merchandises Abhijeet's art. Abhijeet, we are glad to have you with us. And Abhijeet and me were having a discussion whether Abhijeet is my mama or my kaka. So I said he's more of my Anna, my elder brother. What do you think, guys? Kaka, mama? Yeah, Anna. Chacha? Last but not least, we have a special guest, specially who's flew down from Chandigarh for. It's Karan. Give him a big hand, guys. I call him the Indian version of Wolverine, man. So Karan is a comic expert, is a writer, publisher, as well as a conceptual director of Vimanika Comics, which is the first Indian publisher with a presence in the United States. A source of edutainment, Vimanika won the Comic Express Awards and the Golden Cursor Awards of CNBC TV 18 for the best comics in India in 2009. Vimanika has several innovative projects in the pipeline, and its comics have reached the US, UK, and Norway, giving readers an Indian feel in terms of content and artwork. And there's a beautiful story about his life published on Your Story. Apart from that, Karan Veer is a regular man at the Comic Con festival. If you attend Comic Cons regularly, if there's no Karan Veer Arora or there's no Abhijeet Kini, you feel amiss at the Comic Con. So these are regular faces of Comic Con India. And Karan Veer is ready with his book Karana as well. So maybe as the session progresses, we'll hear more from him about his book. To moderate this session, we have Mr. Zankrut Oza. I don't think Zankrut sir requires introduction. He's a professor with our college, but apart from this, he has extensive experience in the field of media and advertising. He is an expert in social media and has been an entrepreneur in the past as well. But without wasting much time, because we're already running late, I hand over this whole show to the moderator, Mr. Zankrut. Quickly, there was a suggestion, there's an addition. I've been told that, I don't know if you heard this, but last session we discussed Picasso. How, he drew a graphic drawing in about 30 seconds. So what Swati ma'am had suggested is, we have our Indian version of Picasso here. So as the session will progress, he will spontaneously draw something, his idea of the VESIM Literati festival. Okay, so I'll be handing over the question in the paper.
Pressure. That's immense amount of pressure.
But that was a huge compliment for you too.
Thank you guys. Can you hear me? Just a note, this is a dramatic dialogue. I'm returning to your college after 16 years. I had come as a participant for a BMF festival next door back in 2000, I think. And I was in National College, and my good memory with your college is that we had won the first prize. So, EA VESIM.
साल पहले 2016 में. Thank you, welcome. So, starting with you only, Abhijeet, Kini, अब आपको पिकासो बनाया गया है. So, there are a lot of other things we will talk, but when we talk comics, शुरू होता है character से. So, he being the artist, we will ask him first, what comes first, character or a plot? Your take on it.
The classic chicken or the egg. What do you think comes first, chicken or the egg? I think everyone's sleeping, so what comes first? Sleep. But here's the thing. There are most of the comics, the concept obviously comes first. A person ideates, the creators ideate and discuss among themselves. A script comes first, and then it comes to the artist for all the visuals that get added. So most of the times, at least the way it has worked with me, the script comes first. The idea comes first. But when I draw my Angry Moshi series, everything comes together. So I don't even know what goes in the next panel. I'm just drawing away like I'm watching an Ekta Kapoor serial. Some, Balaji television's gone on steroids. But yeah, traditionally, like when I'm working for a single script, the script comes first. Everything is marked the way it has to, look in a flow. And then I take over for the artworks and add my Easter eggs in it.
So that was an artist's perspective, that what comes first. Now let's go with Karan. What do you think? What's your take on it? Whether it's plot first, character first, what do you think when you start writing?
It's the same chicken and the egg situation.
I don't copy him, come on. See, artists generally inspire. तो आप ऐसा कह सकते हो, I'm inspired from his answer.
Yes, I'm quite inspired and I've sort of taken a little adaptation from it. But basically, it's the visualization that you have in your mind that comes first. What is exactly your objective for the story that you want to build? So first, of course, jokes apart, the story is very important. That is the foundation of the building. If you don't have the foundation, of course, the building does not stand. The character, the artist, everything, it's much easier if the story is there in front of the artist. He knows exactly what he's doing. So story, your visualization, what you're looking at, development of the story, the plot, basically your beginning and your ending, what is your objective behind it, that's very, very important, I believe. That comes first.
We talked about character, plot, but we being at a management institute, पैसे की तो बात करनी पड़ेगी. And here we have a stalwart sitting next to us, who revolves this industry and very humbly says, नहीं यार वो तो यही लोग चलाते हैं. So my question direct to you, what happened? So suddenly there is a ray of hope. I know Chota Bheem is not still their thing, but it has given a ray of hope that yes, India can bring their own characters and it can become a sensation. And with that example, can you explain how is the business going to revolve from that? Is India going to have some cartoon or some comic sensation in 2016? A prediction from you.
Hi. So you want me to make a prediction?
Yes. Astrologer Baba.
Astrology is not part of our core competence. I don't think franchises, we call them franchises, whether it's Harry Potter, Supandi or Angry Moshi or Chota Bheem, these are franchises. Franchise matlab, this is a marketing concept in content. You start with an idea and these ideas are not manufactured, they just happen randomly and then they're successful. So once they're successful, if you're smart and you're lucky and you have the right contacts and the right brains, you can build that into a franchise. Stan Lee never thought of his characters as a franchise, he just thought of a great idea and it became a franchise. So to answer your question, there are no overnight successes. They take years of work. They suddenly spring up as overnight success. And even Chota Bheem, it ran for 7 years before anyone took notice of it. So next year or this year what's going to be overnight success, I don't know. So
Okay, that was a diplomatic answer, but I'm going back to Abhijeet Kini. Is boss always right?
Well, before that, I must clarify. Abhijeet is one of our most valuable partners. Under no circumstance is any of us
we
have a reporting relationship. We can't do without him. He can't do without us. So we are like stuck at the hip. So no boss around here.
So, Abhijeet is friendly with that, and as he said yesterday, his boss is not going to be angry on us. So I can throw all Tika questions on him, and he's going to give the similar answers back to me. So Abhijeet, is he right? One point where he asked is, ideas come randomly. Then what are those sessions when you think as in pressure that yes, this is a deadline, I have to come up with a character, I have to come with that plot. So if it comes randomly, then what are those sessions, brainstorming sessions all about? Or how you work on deadly timelines?
To start with, I think let's just put this in perspective for a second and say, name one character you guys have grown up reading, or one character you guys remember, reading when you were growing up in school, or kindergarten. Yeah, Chacha Chaudhary. Supandi, I was waiting for that. Supandi, Tantri the Mantri. These are, characters which are trademark Indian homogeneous characters which have stood the test of time. Name one character from a childhood, Supandi, Tantri, all these characters will come in your top 5. Because there is, Chacha Chaudhary, yes, but on the overall scene in India, this is what people have grown up with. So, Tinkle, ACK, they already have a very, very strong base of characters which people are relating Indian comics with for a long, long time now. What we talk about is the new characters. So, like you said, there's a new wave of comics that we've been doing with Tinkle. I'm talking only Tinkle right now because we are doing that in perspective with this question. Butterfingers is one of the characters, Defective Detectives, Super Weirdos, these are these new series which came up. The brief is given, the setup is so open that the brief is given to the artist to come up with sketches which kind of pertain to that description. If it's a clumsy character, of course his hair will be all unkempt, his clothes will be like not ironed, you guys are looking dapper, but that character will not. So, that's where our brainstorming comes in, and you have to put in visuals. See, an artist always draws things out of what he has seen. So I'm looking at you guys today. So tomorrow if I'm drawing a comic, I'm sure 10 of you will get featured in some comic I'm drawing or the other. Even if you keep a straight face. So be aware. I've drawn Zankrut so many times. So that's where the brainstorming happens. That's how the ideation happens. So I think it's kind of like a synergy that goes on between the writers and the artists, and that's where I think even Karan will agree with me that it's a process that is not just one way. It's kind of like a process where everyone gives in their thought about what they feel the character and plot do in a certain situation. Brainstorming.
I may add, I'm not the creative guy, but since I see it from a distance, and I definitely have done it in film and television, it's casting eventually. When a director thinks of a movie and he thinks of characters, or she thinks of characters, then they try to identify the ideal person who can play that role. So they draw something, and from that drawing they try to they actually draw many of them, and then they try to find whether it's Ranveer or find a new face. So I believe, from what I've seen, artists also have to cast that role, which is told to them in a story or a script outline, and that's how they come up with that brainstorming. The brainstorming is not about अब कुछ तो story लिखना है. The brainstorming is अब इस story को कैसे आगे ले जाएं.
So you can't keep a gun at the head of a writer or an artist. Abhi bana character. It's just like being constipated. The more you think about it, the less will come out. Just go with the flow. Relax and give a thought to it.
Him sitting for 1 hour on the pod seat is the right information I have received from Arthur.
You won't believe the time I spent there.
So before Karan takes a short short nap. I will go back to Karan. क्योंकि कुछ सुनने में आया कि you are मतलब अपने ही नाम से कुछ लिखने की कोशिश कर रहे हो. What is the word?
सुनने में नहीं आया, लिखने में भी होता है. It's the sixth Karna's book है, जो मैं novel लिख रहा हूँ. 10 साल हो गए मुझे research करते हुए. इसकी comic book में निकली है, The Sixth Legend of Karna. और उसमें coincidentally the parallel story is that there's a young man who's somewhat the same age like mine, and he has the name Karan. Okay, with the twist I had to add Oberoi, otherwise it would be too evident, basically. You know, so तेरा ही नाम है तो अपने आप use कर रहा है. You know, you think you are a multi-millionaire, you are a superhero and all that. But I've got a lot of comments like that people have told me. But the fact is this, that किसी का भी नाम करण भी हो सकता है. Anyone's name can be Karan, and why not? अगर उसका करना है, तो why not? Let's just make it Karan and make a twist. Personal thing, इसका नाम करणवीर है, तो करना है कैरेक्टर, तो कनेक्शन है 100%. पर पता चलेगा कनेक्शन ही नहीं है बुक में, कोई कनेक्शन नहीं है. फिर उसी तो ऐसे ही तो मैं अपना पार्ट 1, पार्ट 2, पार्ट 3 ये सब मैं आगे बढ़ाऊंगा ना बुक में. That's how I do it. You know, so the mystery is this. Now you see currently तो it has to be connection with Karna, but then later on you realize connection. So where is the connection? Let's go to part 2. तो मेरा part 2 आ जाएगा. Basically, so that's what I do. Make it evident, but it is not evident. And I'm just giving you a spoiler right now.
This will act as a trailer. If you have to really choose between Karna and Arjuna, whom will you go with? Because here we have our boss who has written on Discover Arjuna and you. Here you are, where is he? He is there. And here you are talking about Karna. So now the frank answer you have to give. Don't be afraid of him. You have to give a frank answer. Karna or Arjuna?
Well, it's going to be a frank answer. It's going to be very honest. It's always been with me. When I was a young kid, मैं सबके लोगों को मिलता था, you know, aunties, uncles, जैसे हम सब बचपन में मिलते हैं. And they like, बेटा नाम क्या है? आंटी जी करणवीर अरोड़ा. Actually मेरे बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट में वीर भी है, तो करणवीर अरोड़ा है. आप जानते हैं बेटे करणवीर का मतलब क्या है? तो पूरी स्टोरी खुल जाती है. बेसिकली मुझे कुछ पता नहीं था. तो करणवीर की जब स्टोरी used to come, then the whole, you know, I used to come to know the history of Karna. And then I realized कि अर्जुन, पार्थसारथी, कुंती है, सब लोग इतने सारे नाम जानते हैं, इतना सक्सेसफुल है, इतना फेमस है. मैंने देखा है कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग, most of the people in our country, no, not actually, most of the people in our country, name is Karna or Karan. Why not Arjun? So, you know, ये मेरे माइंड में गया, why Karan? When Karan is not known, इसके बारे में बुक्स नहीं लिखी है, 16 बुक्स लिखी होंगी टोटल, और वो भी पोइट्री हैं, सबकी सब. So what is the effect? Why this? Then I found out that history is always written from the victor's point of view. जो जीते थे महाभारत में, उन्हें लिखी, और जो सबसे एल्डेस्ट भाई था, जो controversially 120 years का एज था जब वो मरा था. Scientifically speaking, a lot of people can debate on this, but I believe strongly उसके बारे में तो लोग भूल गए. और एक चीज मुझे याद आती है जब कृष्णा ने बोला था when Karna was shooting in front of Arjun, और जब करण ने शूट किया अपना नागास्त्र, कृष्णा का जो चैरिट है वो 2 बार पीछे गया. अर्जुन का चैरिट, कृष्ण बैठे थे, ऑफ कोर्स वो तो साथी थे. तो अर्जुन asked him, बॉस कृष्ण जी ये you know don't mind Krishna ji, you know. So basically क्या है कि 2 बार पीछे गया. तो अर्जुन ने पूछा कि यार आप कृष्ण started to clap. बोला यार ये आप कृष्ण जी आप क्यों अपलॉड क्यों कर रहे हो? Why are you applauding Karan? He is my enemy. Oh, I have shot his chariot and it's gone 6 times behind. Why are you applauding him when he's just shooting and it's just gone twice behind my chariot? He says, मूर्ख, बेवकूफ, stupid. मैं बैठा हूँ तेरे चैरियट में और 2 बार पीछे गया है. वो तो उसकी चैरियट में कोई बैठा ही नहीं है, और 6 बार पीछे गया. तो सोच, भगवान बैठा है तेरे चैरियट में और 2 बार उस आदमी ने पीछे कर दिया. उसके पास कितनी स्ट्रेंथ होगी, कितना स्किल होगा, कितना मास्टरशिप होगा. I started getting a lot of dreams at the age of 12. और बस मेरे को सपने आने लगे. साहब तो बिल्डर हैं, वो सक्सेसफुल हैं, तो उनका बिजनेस शुरू कर दे। मैंने बोला नहीं नहीं मुझे किताब लिखना है। बोला यार और एक चीज़ में फेल करा देगा, स्कूल में तो होमवर्क भी नहीं करता था। एवरी मॉर्निंग द टीचर इज टू गेट मी अप, हैव यू डन योर होमवर्क? No, I have not done that. I mean, you're a failure. That's the motivation I used to get in the morning. Get up, you're a failure. Now the girls are not less interested in me. जो कल थी interested, आज कुछ effect तो नहीं हो गया. तो basically क्या है कि this thing was the only thing. This is the only thing in my life that was really exciting. So I said I got to write it, I got to do it. And it's been 10 years. I visited 12 sites connected to Karna from the 21 sites around the world. Personally, I have gone with archaeologists, with scholars, and I have actually seen places which are invaded and Karna's fortresses which have been destroyed by the invasions that we've had in India, including that. Okay, he's saying now.
वो टेंशन ना लो, करण और अर्जुन दोनों आएंगे। तो करण अर्जुन आएंगे, ये तो ये बात नहीं। But coming back to the business point, ज़माना डिजिटल हो गया है सर। और बात ये है कि एसी के बगैर टिंकल्स जो चाइल्डहुड में हमारे हाथों में थी, फिर से थोड़ी सी दूर गई, वापस से आपने कहीं कहा कि you will bring it back with the digital form. So what is your digital tinkle idea?
Hello. First, I must applaud Karan and point out something to all of you that both Abhi and Karan.
I hope it's not serious.
No, it's very serious.
Scared now.
See, success is not measured by your money. Success is measured by your commitment. And success is not measured by the size of what people say, but the depth of what you do. So both these gentlemen here represent commitment to something, and the commitment gives you an outcome which is far more pleasurable. So coming back to your question, digital is a very complex word. Now we need to break that down briefly. There is the sale of physical content in digital format, which is e-books, apps and so on. Then there is e-commerce, where you buy the physical book itself digitally through a digital retail outlet. And then there is a third, which is you take your character and no longer keep them inside a printed format, but bring them out in the form of a game or a animated series or a live action program. So there are three types of categories which are commonly lumped together as digital. For the sake of your question, I will limit myself to the fact that we have a physical comic, and if it's Tinkle, it looks like this, right?
The comics of our childhood, he's bringing and cheering.
Sorry, I'm not marketing it, I'm just making a reference point. This is an Amar Chitra Katha, in case somebody doesn't know. So, the reason I'm mentioning it is, you can buy all Amar Chitra Kathas on an app store of our own, and we have digitized about 250 of our key products. It is extremely expensive to convert a comic into an app. We won't even return our investment in the next 5 years. Okay, so it's very tough to digitize and convert content into apps, especially if you want all of them sitting in one place. And we have an app store where you can buy it as a subscription. You can pay $250 and read 50 ACKs in 3 months. You can pay $500 and read 100 ACKs in 6 months, and so on. So it's a complex investment-driven process which is not yet profitable for anyone in the world. Whether it's DC or Marvel, they have huge numbers, but in context of how much they invest in it, it's not profitable because people are not buying in such large quantities yet. The other model is Tinkle as a periodical is also available on Maxter, which is a newsstand. And these are all places where you need to be. Today you can access our product anywhere globally, but it doesn't mean everybody wants to access it digitally. In fact, the funny thing is print is reviving in a big way, especially in the reading format, and we are seeing it in the last 2 years. The e-book is not destroying print. The sale of books are increasing exponentially. So to cut it short, we are present in all digital formats, but digital consumption is not keeping pace with the investments that go into it.
Hope it goes up with the time. So, थोड़ा सा इसको और आगे ले जाते हुए, when we are talking about digitization, can we imagine something जहाँ पे we have Xbox with your cartoon characters, imagine, or some mythology characters in the gaming form. Imagine, for example, can we imagine of Ramayana, and we have the whole game series of Rama killing different demons in the game. Can we have something like a 3D version out of it, or a Google game version out of it, and it can escalate the whole gaming or cartoons or comics into a different era altogether? Guys, would we be interested into playing the Xbox of a Ramayana? Majority, yes.
Yeah, so I'll collect the advances from everyone here. Shut the doors, please. No
True businessman.
There's a saying, you have to put your money where your mouth is. So, the short answer is yes, there is a lot of work happening on that front. In fact, there's a very interesting company out of the US called Gamaya Games. We've been working with them. They created an interesting interactive gaming concept where they created these consoles with actual toys. So you put your toy on the console and links to an iPad where the game is going on. So you can take your Ravan and push him, and you can take your Hanuman and that. So, but gaming in India again, we are focusing more on typical characters, and we'll very soon be having a huge number of games coming out in the next 6 months with a very large international gaming company. They're all mobile games, they're not console games. Console games are not, again, easy to produce. Console games are the domain of international guys because you make one game, costs tens of millions of dollars to create, and so you need a global franchise. So, mobile games, yes, there is a lot of interest. The other thing with mythological characters is you can't own them. Rama, Krishna, Karna. So you can't create your own look and feel of Karna. It's very difficult. So you have to create some other mythology and then weave with your own character and then weave these around that. But that whole process is very, very expensive. The kind of base you require to monetize gaming is very, very large. So mobile is where we are looking at and going ahead very aggressively this year.
Okay, so you're coming on the digital forefront. But when you talked about look and feel, I'll come back to that. You are known to be the someone who visualized, who keep on it come in the forefront that even all the gods whom we call gods and who are the Indian mythological history, they are our history. You muscularize them. They are now with the six-pack abs. They are with the huge muscles. You are the one who brought that our true rulers who were having those kinds of physical attire. Can you throw some light on that? What were the first reactions coming out from all those Gyanis that okay, they were not like this, they are feeble, they are very sweet looking people. So those reactions क्या रहे थे? Which were the toughest reactions you got from them?
From whom?
From all those Gyani Babas saying कि नहीं यार कैसे राम भगवान के कैसे इतने सिक्स पैक एब्स हो सकते हैं, ऐसे मस्कुलर कैसे हो सकते हैं, या तो बीन, वो तो सिर्फ बीन के होते हैं ना, तो वो कैसे इतने हो गए, कृष्णा के हाथ में से एकदम ट्रांसफॉर्मर से भी ज्यादा कैसे बड़े हो गए. So what was the first kind of reaction coming from those Gyani Babas to you?
Transformer वो तो नहीं जो बाहर transformer the transformer. Basically क्या है कि what I saw, coming back to your question, very important, very good question, that when I started out, मैंने देखा कि मैं इनफैक्ट ऑफ कोर्स जैसे सब लोग यहाँ हैं, मैं भी I have grown up, my childhood has grown up reading ACK comics, Amachitra Katha, and all the, I was of course very excited and very interested to read mythology from childhood, and of course Marvel and DC. How many guys read Marvel and DC comics here? Please, अगर हाथ और उठाएं.
You had a fantastic childhood. Let me say that.
All behind. So you know, I used to read Spider-Man, Marvel, DC, and I used to read Amachitra. I used to see awesome. Amachitra Katha is very good in content, and and Marvel and DC is very good in the way they present. Very universal. Not that Amachitra Katha is not presenting, very lovely in presentation, very oriental. I said कि यार ऐसा कुछ करना चाहिए that is make something that is more, I would say, hybrid, more something which is on steroids. You know, so when we launched kiya tha, so they said your Amar Chitrakatha on steroids, Vaimanika, basically. So, you know, people used to compare it. But then I had to explain, no, Amar Chitrakatha is class apart. They are the mighty giants we are standing on. You know, I mean, if they are not there, then what market? There's no market. So basically, I saw that 5 years, 6 years ago, Mr. Sampath also will be quite aware that the market jo tha, ekdam down ja raha, ek tarah se. It was not growing. So I said that let's do something which is innovative. कुछ ऐसा करें जिसमें 2008 में जब वर्जन कॉमिक्स आया था, जब मैंने देखा साधु को फर्स्ट टाइम, उनका एक टाइटल था वर्जन कॉमिक्स के बारे में कितने लोगों ने सुना होगा? Okay, it just looks like fancy. Virgin Comics is owned by Richard Branson, multi-billionaire, and of course Deepak Chopra, Deepak Chopra and his son, Deepak Chopra's son, Gautam Chopra, Gautam Comics. That we have heard, लोग 15 रुपए की Gautam Comics करते थे. तो basically क्या है कि when I read the Virgin Comics, I went mad. मैं चंडीगढ़ में था. देखो U-turn होता है. मैं actually born brought up Bombay में ही हूँ, but Bandra boy. But then I shifted to Chandigarh because you know my family is there. तो जब मैं कंप्यूटर में था, म्यूजिक ऑन था, एकदम एक्साइट हो गया, एम्बियंस था एकदम. And I saw Sadhu, I went totally into it. वो beautiful सा एक long haired physique आदमी खड़ा है, उसके बैकग्राउंड में काली माँ का स्टैचू है. I said, wow, this is so exciting. This is so. One word came in my mind: sexy. One word, sexy. I wanted to create something that is sexy, cutting edge, and it connects with the youth. मैंने देखा यूएस में इतना इंटरेस्टिंग निकालते हैं, इंडिया में इतना क्यों है? शिव जी आ गए, विष्णु जी आ गए, मतलब ओरिएंटल ऐसा है. अच्छा है, भगवान के बारे में ऐसा बोलना नहीं चाहिए, बट क्या है कि जब भी मैं विष्णु को देखता हूँ, वो ऐसा फिगर होता है, कृष्ण जी ऐसा फिगर. मैंने सोचने लगा, मेरे पास तो एजुकेशन नहीं था, मैं सोचता था यार ये वैसे लेमैन की जैसे सोचोगे तो देन व्हाट इज दिस? आई मीन यू नो, इज इट विष्णु इज मैस्कुलिन, फेमिनिन, व्हाट इज ही? सो वो तो नहीं, आपको समझना पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू गो इनटू इट. ओरिएंटल है, आर्ट है. मैंने बोला यही चलते आ रहा है इतने सालों से, आर्ट है, पर हमें तो समझ नहीं आता यूथ को कुछ समझ ही नहीं आता. तो जब मैंने देखा कि राजा रवि वर्मा ने रियलिस्टिकली ड्राइंग आर्टिस्टिकली करना चालू कर दिया था, रियलिस्टिक, एंड आई रियली लव्ड हिज पेंटिंग्स, यू नो. सो आई गॉट इंस्पायर्ड बाय दैट एंड आई सेड लेट मी जस्ट सॉर्ट ऑफ गेट इंस्पिरेशन फ्रॉम देयर एंड ग्लोबली स्टार्ट क्रिएटिंग समथिंग व्हिच इज मैस्कुलिन. बॉडी शॉडी हो, थोड़ा सेक्सी लगे, एब्स हो. अभी फॉर एग्जांपल कोई बोलता है ऐसे, आपने बोला राम जी को क्यों होंगे, मतलब वो तो मतलब एब्स क्यों होंगे, जिम जाते हैं, ही गोज टू जिम और समथिंग. पर आप बिलीव नहीं करेंगे और आप याद रहेंगे कि अखाड़ाज होता था हमारे एंशिएंट टाइम्स में, और जो अखाड़े होते थे उधर आप देखेंगे वहीं से गामा पहलवान निकल के आया है. और आप गामा पहलवान की फिजिक को देखेंगे ना, 1200 किलोस का अपने हाथ से उठाता था स्टोन, और जो पुशअप्स मारता था वाज अबाउट 1000 पुशअप्स एवरी डे. ये कहाँ से इतनी स्ट्रेंथ है इसको? क्या खाना खाता था वो? कितने उसका एपेटाइट क्या था? तो इट ऑल केम फ्रॉम अखाड़ास. हनुमान जी अखाड़ास इज सिनोनिमस विद द अखाड़ास. सो इफ राम जी इज इन द 14 years of बनवास विद हिज wife Sita, and they have been gone, Lakshman, Ram ji and Sita ji. He is climbing mountains, he is in the forest, cutting wood, everything to survive. तो of course automatically natural physique आएगी ना, athletic. तो वो मैंने बोला कि I am trying to make it more realistic, क्योंकि मैं भी पहाड़ों में रह चुका हूँ. I have stayed in South India, वहाँ अपना ही आप कुकिंग करते थे, सर्वाइवल करते थे, जंगल में रहते थे, there is no light, there is no media, you had to do everything yourself. तो मेरी एक नेचुरल फिजिक बन गई थी वहाँ, और मैंने बहुत सारे लोगों को देखा, तो मैंने देखा रियलिस्टिकली इट्स पॉसिबल दैट maybe not gym physique but some physique is there so that people can relate to it. So to make it interesting, I added the muscularity part of it, you know, so that people relate to it, the youth relate to it and buy my comics, and people started buying.
So that's the trick of the secret of muscularizing all those popular and godly figures. We'll come back to the cartoon guy. Please जो बना है वो दिखाइए. Our student, he just instantly made something for us. Please have a round of applause for him. He has written VESIM rules. So in 2014, there was an amazing campaign. It was for selecting the current Prime Minister. During that, he has made n number of cartoons in Hindi and English both. So one of the only cartoonists to make cartoons in both the languages, which best of the cartoonists denied in the country. So So my direct question to you, what stops you from being a full-time cartoonist? Is that R.K. Lakshman ka common man ka bichara ho jaoge? Or is it something else which is being stopping you? Because this is like a fan talking to you, that amazing cartoons you have made. You've got almost 12,000 shares, 10,000 shares on each and every of your cartoons. So what stops you from being a cartoonist, top-time cartoonist, and publishing it every other day?
I'm not like a morcha outside my place stoning my windows in the morning. With the whole political scenario, even cartoonists unfortunately are not spared. No, but I'm just kidding. I mean, it's not the fact that...
You were never attacked.
No one will dare attack me. But the fact remains that political cartooning was something that I always... I mean, we've all grown up reading in the papers, but it's been there. But my first love is comics. Sure, I would provide political cartoons wherever required. But the thing is, drawing for comics, creating your own comics, writing for comics is a different zone altogether. Two different parallel things. I enjoyed political cartooning. But in our country, we are not as liberal as we claim our freedom of expression is. And hey, if I am in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons for drawing some cartoon which is controversial, I'll take it. It's my 15 seconds of fame. I'll be in the newspapers, my photo will be there somewhere there. And you know, Aaj Tak will be like, देखिए इस cartoonist को जिसने ये cartoon draw किया. I'll be like, yeah, sure, put my Twitter handle on it, I'll be good. But no, I think comics is my first love. And there's immense amount of fun drawing and writing comics. So I definitely prioritize that over political any day. But it's fun. I mean, I'm not saying it's taking away anything from...
So the question was not just that, you go into political cartooning, it's about anything into cartoons. You relate it to every day, you bring it forward, and you've got serious appraisal. You have seen it on online media that you always get it for sure. So this can be a secret. Now, here the twist in the story for him is, so see facial expressions. He works. So the co-founder of one of the firms. He works with his wife over there. So how he balances your life? Partner at home, at crime, and at business.
She's the boss, and I'm working under her. Would anyone dare to bring anything else up other than what is required by the boss? No, that will not happen. So the thing is, the setup is easy. Is me and my wife, we handle our own merchandise line, we publish our comics, and split the profits. So technically, our studio and our office is our home itself. Our storehouse is our home itself. So sometimes we end up sleeping in the hall and the room is full of comics and boxes and cartons of magnets and mugs. But it's fun. I mean, that's something. She quit her job at Camlin and she's taken this up. I quit my job where I was working and I've taken this up full time. So clearly, either I'm seen as a complete lunatic or I'm seen as a guy who's following his dreams and all that. But at the end of it, we are in this for our passion for the whole genre of work. Everyone in this. So right from childhood, I wanted to be a drawer for comics. In fact, I met Anand Pai, the great late Anand Pai, when I was in the 9th standard. My mom had taken me to meet him and show him my sketches. And he liked them and he said, once you're done with your education, you can come back to us and show your work. So fast forward 5-6 years later, I went back and it was in 2004. So I've been drawing for Tinkle since then. That to me is a dream realized. Because I ended up drawing for a comic I always loved reading from childhood. Somewhere deep inside it's an emotional connect. So all this kind of boils down to the fact that whatever we do, work-wise or anything, if it's driven by passion, it is possible to achieve. And that's what me and my wife have realized today. We've taken this direction consciously and it's kind of worked out for us. And who are we answerable to? We ourselves. So at the end of the day, if we just are happy with what we're doing, that solves a lot of problems.
We'll go back to Vijay Sampath. There are few says that okay, this is where comic industry is moving, these are the things happening over here. But what is the way forward and how it should be marketed more than India? See, comparing it to the Asia itself, we are not comparing it with US, but here we have next to us China or Japan, where we have Dragon Ball Z series, those kind of sensational series coming over here. When will India have its own cartoon character or something like its own? And what is the way forward or how it should be marketed? This is the last question thrown at you.
These things, like I said, see, everything that happens in any society is a function of its cultural practice. So, we can write any number of comics. We can introduce baseball in India, but if people don't want to play baseball, you can't say that baseball has not become like it has become in Cuba or Japan or US. So similarly, we have a culture in India. In that culture, you have to fit your objective. You can't expect the culture to change because you have an objective. So it's a complex issue, so you have to grapple with this. So if something huge is going to come out of India, why does it have to go outside India? That's the first question. I believe that our franchise is very strong in India. The sum total of number of people who read my content is more than the population of Europe. I'm just exaggerating. So the point is, why this need to go out? If Japan has some franchise which is very big in Japan, so be it. हमारे यहाँ हमारा content है, और if why would Shah Rukh Khan care what people think about Brad Pitt? He should think about the fact that there are 600 million guys here who love him. I'm just using him as an example of somebody from India. So we are Indic, and inside India, whatever happens will happen, and you can't force it to happen. There are global trends. You can't help it. There are certain global franchises that will appeal to Indians, but from India to say that America में हम popular हो गए या China में popular हो गए, England में popular हो गए, personally I feel it's a very defensive attitude. We should just do what we are doing and something will happen.
Now we'll keep the session open for question and answers from the students over here. We would like the questions. Okay, there's the hands raised over there. Please pass on the mic over there.
So happy to see hands coming up.
Actually, Netflix has started in India recently. So what do you think if you can collaborate with them, because they are searching for new contents from India? Because basically they have their shows from US and UK, they are bringing those shows and they are streaming here. So they are searching for original content. So do you think that you can collaborate with them and provide something?
I don't know why that was funny, but I'm sure there was something else. Yes, in fact, I've written to Jennings also at Netflix some time back. We are in fact collaborating with Amazon, with Hulu, with Hotstar. These things take time because everybody wants ready content. You see, when you say Netflix, 99% of that content is already been produced. Movies, TV shows. Have you gone and seen the Netflix offering in India?
I just saw some.
Yeah, if you see it, it's basically a whole lot of licensed movies. Many of them you won't want to watch. Okay? So it's not as if they're going to commission a House of Cards tomorrow morning in India. Those are very small and the ROI on that is very high. So House of Cards, for example, they needed 21 million subscribers to pay $10 for a particular period of time for it to break even in season 1. So yes, we are talking to all these people. We have a lot of our content franchise coming out shortly. But these things again are a function of what our cultural practices are. In India, Bollywood will come first. So everybody will put money on Bollywood. And then a few TV series. And then cricket. And then devotion.
Boring.
So it's called ABCD. In India, all content in India, just remember this, if you ever get into a media company and there's an interview, you will pass with flying colors. You just say ABCD. Somebody asks you what is Indian media about. Astrology, Bollywood, cricket, devotion.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So, this is not my invention, this is a standard formula. I'm just giving you a tip if you're going for a marketing interview. So,
Any other questions?
Come on.
Go now.
enough of talking.
We don't have any more questions? You have a question? No? Ask.
There's hope.
When can we see something like Dilbert on management concepts?
The question is to
Everyone.
Everyone. Want to go ahead first?
So everyone can answer a bit of it.
Yes. He's the most.
How many of you read comics?
It's all the back end.
That's why new Dilbert is coming up in management in India. 10 people are reading comics. No, but seriously, if there is an audience, we'll do it. If there is no audience and we kind of just end up drawing for like 10 people, it's kind of not.
See, once it's out there and people are reading the newspapers, naturally you'll read it, right? And once you start liking it, you'll read often.
The question is how much time does it take to reach the newspapers? Because the newspapers don't support you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Right? Am I right or am I wrong?
So it's pretty bleak when it comes to going into new territory sometimes with comics. It is now that a lot of advertisers are looking at comics as a possibility to get their brand out there because it's cheaper than shooting a TVC. It's cheaper than booking probably a website banner or anything like that. And it's faster. It's topical. People can get their point out faster. Advertising is definitely a territory where people are using comics. But management-wise, I really hope that there is a demand that something somewhere clicks where people really need an Indian management comic. And the mindset. In India, beyond medical, engineering and management, our type of careers are not really something that people know that they exist too, you know. Even at Comic Cons, they come to my stall and say, yeah, you draw, but what do you do?
They think something like Kapil Sharma, comic. When you say comic, India में यही होता है. Kapil Sharma, comedy करते हो.
Yeah, tell me a joke. Tell me a joke, right? Like, what the hell are you talking about? That's not how it works. Would you ask a doctor or a lawyer the same thing? Yeah, sure, you treat patient, but what do you do? Doesn't work that way. So mindset changes first and then comes journalists for us to draw more. I really hope this happens. Slowly, we may be getting there, but not right now.
This Dilbert, there are two other cultural issues in India. One is that Indians, how much ever we think we are not actually very good with humor. We are very, हम लोग बहुत self-conscious हैं. So it's okay making fun of Santa Banta, but when it's your joke, then you get very angry. Okay? So Indians are not a very touchy people. So it's not easy. Second is, we have, as Abhi said, we don't have freedom of speech in this country. Okay, it's not something that has come up now. It's been there. The British created it, and we have followed it. It's very difficult to express yourself. There are too many limitations, and increasingly for so many. Now, in fact, every single group of people is upset by something. If I do a cartoon on a bearded guy, very likely that I get sued. There is an association of bearded guys who sue. I'm not joking. The number of police complaints and cases that appear. आपने इनको कान में ये बाली डाल दिया. This is against our community. There are court cases against us. We are banned from publishing certain comics which we have published. Every day we get death threats from people. So it is not a very free society. It is something that has been there for a long time. So all of you, in fact now the younger generation is far more aggressive in demanding to be free. And I think you will all have to be the torchbearers of demanding that we should express ourselves freely. It doesn't mean we have to hurt anybody's sentiments, but we have to express. But then when you express, obviously there is two sides to it. So that's what Dilberts and all do. Then you'll have you write something and some industrialist will file a case saying this was actually targeted at me. So that's the reason why these things won't happen so easily, as he doesn't want to do political cartoon.
The only place where we express freely are B-grade films, C-grade films, Gunda, Gunda.
Not that I've watched it, okay?
You know what? I spent a lot of time on YouTube watching Gunda and the like. I have bookmarked quite a few of these trashy movies. It gives a lot of inspiration. when you're on the shit point.
Oh yeah, maybe. And you constipated? No.
Concluding it all.
But you know what? In the last, I'll say this before you conclude. Is that, is it for me or is I'm excited to speak? So. You saved my dignity. Yes, sir.
Japan is very famous for its comics and
Manga, right?
Yes, manga. Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z has some.
Absolutely.
And it is not necessary to launch it over newspapers. They launch it over sites and all over the world. They read it. They even launch their TV series. It is actually in Japanese, but there are English subtitles, and there are many of my friends, who watch it. Even I do. Every Thursday, I download it and I watch it. It is not necessary, to go to the newspaper.
Correct.
India will have such a series because it is a huge platform to launch comics and all. It is not necessary to go for such a Santa Menta comics, it is a high profile comic.
Absolutely.
So do you feel it will ever happen in India? Because there are many comic fans over here and it is a possibility, and there are many of my friends over here only we are
Right. In fact, the greatest mistake here happened in Bombay, the film city came. So people they forgot that the real content is not Salman Khan, boss. Real content is real content. अगर भाजीराव मस्तानी बनती है and मुझे पता है तो भाजीराव मस्तानी मैं देखूंगा क्यों? क्योंकि कंटेंट है उसमें. मैं बाहुबली देखूंगा क्यों? क्योंकि उसमें कंटेंट है. And that is the reason why content is going to sell, and there is a bright future. What you're saying, manga has started in Japan for many years, and that culture has been there for many years. So it's been like over the 30-40 years that Japan has grown into that culture and has become part of their culture. But you know what? When manga started out, इन लोगों ने अपनी history पे focus किया. They focused on their samurais, and from there this thing started to modify and hybrid into many other comics. And then they focused on the histories of the Nagasaki bombs, where they had this. What do you call that? The boy. What is the boy called? Who Astro Boy? Astro Boy came up and he was born out of that. So Godzilla was born out of that history.
Japanese are known for their ninja culture. So Naruto was there.
Absolutely. See how they bring that. Till we do not know. What's your name, sir? Very nice question. You give him a big hand. And it's coming to me especially, so it's a very good question. My friend, basically, till we don't realize who we are and who we were in our history, we will never realize who we are and what we're going to become. What is happening now? Excellent. पर क्या है? उसको क्या है? उसको ये पता नहीं है कि उसका हिस्ट्री में 1000 times भाजीराव 1000 times उसकी हिस्ट्री में पावरफुल हिस्ट्री था. पर वो अगर पीछे जाएगा इतिहास में वो सीखेगा कि नॉट ओनली फ्लाइंग प्लेन्स, न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स, फ्लाइंग प्लेन्स, हनुमान जी सुपरमैन की जैसे स्पैंडेक्स और केप पहन के उड़ते नहीं थे, लंगोट पहन के आते थे और जंप मारते थे. बेसिकली क्या है कि हमारे पास में सब साइंस है, एडवांसमेंट है, बेस्ट ऑफ संगम्स, बेस्ट ऑफ पोएट्री, बेस्ट ऑफ हमारा नाट्य शास्त्र जो लिखा गया था, ड्रामा was born here by Bharat Muni, and Brahma himself came and told him you start writing, and that's how Natya Veda came out. That is the 5th Veda, but people don't know. मैंने पढ़ना चालू किया. पता कैसे पढ़ना चालू किया? जब मैंने I started asking questions. So you ask questions, and I did not believe. I said, hey, this is all bullshit. I don't believe in Mahabharata. I don't believe in Ramayana. I used to have arguments with professors. No, please. But then I realized कि अगर 50% भी true निकले, what happened? यार, it is too good. अगर ये लोग बोलते हैं, scholars say that some of the people were 12 feet tall and 16 feet tall, like Bhim was 15 feet tall. That is impossible. It's not possible biologically. But अगर 50% भी true निकले, so 7 feet tall है यार, मतलब अच्छा है. So you need to have a simple mind. You need to have a simple mind, but you need to have a childish mind, a simple mind, but a curious mind, and support. We need a little support for this content. When Comic Con came the first time, Jatin Verma came to me, the founder of Comic Con. He came to the Cafe Coffee Day and he told me, Karan, this is the blueprint I have seen.
I had met somebody in Bombay who wanted to do a comic con, and he came to hotel में रखने आया, उन्होंने flop show होगा. Then I went to Delhi. I totally discouraged it. नहीं होने वाला. Then I came to Delhi. Simultaneously, Jagan Verma contacted me. He said कि कोई नहीं sponsor कर रहा है, कोई stall भी नहीं लिए. मैं बोला आपके ऐसे आदमी का कोई stall नहीं लिए? मैं तो सैन डिएगो कॉमिक कॉन गया हूँ, मैंने देखा है क्या पोटेंशियल है कॉमिक कॉन का. आप क्या करें? बोला nobody is doing it. I said very surprised and shocked. I said मैं पहले करूँगा sponsor आपका. I'll be the associate sponsor and we sponsor it from then on. Comic Con, you see how it has grown year by year. 50,000 people come and in their Comic Con in 3 days time and they spend 350 rupees and come. Matlab potential is there. We cannot think negative. We have to think positive, but we have to focus on comics. Serious भी होती है. Comics खाली archies नहीं है. Comics are not asterisks or obliques only. Comics is not Tintin only. Comics is what? Comics are serious also. मैं health industry के artist के साथ में काम करता हूँ. I work with Chris Gethin. I've just launched Chris Gethin's Cage Muscle. It's a health industry comic book. I'm working with religious comic books. Dawn, जो movie निकली थी Dawn 2, we did a comic book for Dawn. Dawn the Origins is done by Romanica Studios. So we do serious also. So you know, I encourage all of you. Coming back to my last attempt, I encourage all of you. If you want that generation, you want that Bleach, you want that Dragon Ball Z, you got to put a little effort like you put for Dilwale. जो आप प्रमोशन करते हो, वो थोड़ा सा एफर्ट करके आप पहले इंटरेस्ट लो. कोई कॉमिक को देखो, उसको इंटरेस्ट में लाओ, फिर इतना एक्साइट हो जाओ, उसको शेयर करो. ऐसे ही ग्रो है. थोड़ा सा एफर्ट आपकी तरफ से आएगा, थोड़ा आप अपनी हिस्ट्री में जाओगे, आप रियलाइज करोगे निंजास और समुराई से 10 गुना बेटर हमारी स्वॉर्ड्स होती थी, हमारी आर्चरी होती थी, हमारे हॉर्सेस होते थे. सब कुछ इंडिया में है, सब कुछ हमारे भारत में है. एवरीथिंग इज देयर. यू जस्ट नीड टू स्टडी. यू डोंट नीड टू लाफ. इनफ ऑफ लाफिंग. नाउ यू गो बैक एंड स्टडी इट. दैट्स व्हाट्स इम्पोर्टेंट. थैंक यू सो मच.
I think on this positive note, we conclude this session. A big round of applause for all the people who are and as we go to the most interesting sections of the day, I would like Swati Singh to felicitate the CEO of our Chitrakatha, Mr. Vijay Sampath. You know, it's not really easy to carry the legacy of Amar Chitrakatha with all of us, you know, having grown old reading.
Really make the world happening.
I invite Professor Ravi to felicitate Abhijeet Kini. We have a special prize for guessing his height, huh?
6'2".
Next, I invite Professor Mukund to felicitate Karan. So Karan is getting a book on Arjun, written by our boss, Dr. Satish Vogue. I wholeheartedly thank all the 4 of you for coming here and making the session very interesting. I think this was perhaps the most interesting session, and initially when we conceptualized this whole event, there was a big discussion whether we should have a comic thing or no. So I think we haven't made any mistake by having this session, one of the most interesting sessions of the day. Thank you all of you for coming and joining us. Next up we have a small one-act play on the life of Swami Vivekananda that is being enacted by Damodar Ramdasi. So this will be experimental theatre in his words, because suddenly you have those theatrical lights which we don't have because it's not a proper auditorium, theatre auditorium here. So within 5 minutes we begin. Rajesh? Okay, so in the meanwhile, just sit in your places, and I'll also request all the guests to attend this experimental theatre on the life of Swami Vivekananda. The play is titled Yodha Sannyasi. Thank you all.